What is up? What is up? What is up? We are back and we are black in this bitch. This is the No I Don't Know podcast. So, no, I don't know. So tell me, motherfucker. What is going on? What is going on? It's your boy Warren. You know how it is. Been clown free and sucker free since 2003. That's when I stopped being a fucking clown in certain ways, but still had some clownish ways. Hey man, you already know what I'm hit you with. Did Jesus come back today? Jesus said, believe on me, believe on me. That's the scripture that said it. Yeah, I know y'all. Like, oh, he didn't come back. Damn. So y'all went to church and kissed ass and acted like y'all was going to heaven. Yeah, well, there's always next Sunday. But anyway, hey, this is the No I Don't Know podcast. It's your boy Warren Jr. Place to be. Hey, what's going on in the chat room? What's up? Hey, no, you're not on time. I'm on time. I'm on time, man. I know people got shit to do. Me too. It'd be hard doing this shit and got other shit to do, especially when you working for the corporate plantation. But anyway, hey, man, I just wanted to let everybody know, man, that if you at the corporate plantation on the weekend, it's fucked up. I used to do that shit too. Hey, much power and respect to you. I know it's not easy having to get up and go there on a Saturday or Sunday morning. But if you on some, man, I can't even go to church because I got to go to work. I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear that shit at all. Go back to No. Hey, I'm just reading stuff from the chat room. Nah. Hey, let me tell you something. I believe that there's a book that I read, The Powers of the Subconscious Mind and Thoughts of Things, and it talks about how powerful prayer and things are. So it's true, just to look at that perspective, because I always thought about, think about it, in voodoo, there's prayer, chanting, prayer. In any type of religion, there's prayer. What I don't believe in, what I don't like is how they take the religion and they organize it, and it's just, sometimes it becomes toxic to my people because we be too busy trying to chase the political aspects of the religious part of it than having a better relationship with people and having a spiritual relationship with whatever your God is. But I believe in the power of prayer. I just don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't believe that Jesus said it, and then you good, you can go to heaven, and I don't believe in all that. I believe in educating your people and arming them with knowledge so they can know how to deal with this system and know how to deal with capitalism. That's what I believe in. So that's my thing. And my belief system is very flexible because, like I said before, you know, when they gave us voodoo and voodoo, hey, it was always about it being bad, because the first time you saw a little bit of voodoo or voodoo was like child's play. And it was looked at as bad and demonized, but really voodoo is good. That's what the Haitians used to kill all those motherfucking white people that was trying to colonize their country. and pray for me, and I pray for people. I just ain't gonna be going to your church, and I can't be doing that no more. But anyway, hey man, the reason why you see me on my phone sometimes too, because sometimes I be posting this. You know, I post a video on different things or whatever, you know, just so people could get a different perspective. Well, it's always so funny. I love it when, you know, provocateurs and people respond and they have their things. And I got a response from somebody on the last podcast I did about Berniesanders. Berniesanders, the politician, has, I'm going to read something from what this guy says. His name is James Ray Light or something. Berniesanders, the politician, has a terrible voice and is a Hebrew from Israel, and it's not surprising that a Jew Hebrew wants more money from the United States government for past historical actions against the Hebrews. I think people need to stop expecting money and reparations from anyone unless they personally did labor or personally suffered, physically, mentally, financially, to a life-changing extent from the government's actions in general. Black or African-American people used to just want a seat on the bus. Inclusion and legal equality, job opportunities, and equal benefits from the government and social service agencies like welfare, Medicaid. Okay, now African Americans want free money. Now, I'm not even going to read no more. This guy, James Ray Light. First of all, you need to do your research and you need to start getting some of these books, brother, whether you're a provocateur or whatever. See, I like to address these things, even though I'm going to get into the subject, but I like to take a little time out and address things like this because it's very important that we got to nip this shit in the bud. You need to read They Came Before Columbus by Ivan Van Sertima, Dr. Ivan Van Sertima. You need to read The Secret Relationships Between Jews and Blacks by the Nation of Islam. And you think, oh, well, it's the Nation of Islam. No, but the Nation of Islam did their historical research from Caucasian Jews. Facts. They just compiled the information and put it into this book. Facts. You need to read the Ancient Egyptian Book of the Dead. And if we want to take it a little further, because we feel like money and things are owed to us, you can go ahead and read Stolen Legacy. Go ahead and read that book. Whatever you're thinking or whatever somebody told you, James Ray Light, you need to read this book. And the reason why I'm telling you need to read this book, because in Stolen Legacy, it talks about how the liberal arts was stolen from us. It talks about how it was stolen from us. It almost discusses, not almost, it did. It discusses in detail how practicing the liberal arts in Europe was illegal. You couldn't even do that then. It was illegal. So again, I'm gonna hold this book up to everybody just in case if you didn't see it the first time. It's Stolen Legacy by George G. M. James. Stolen Legacy. Go ahead and read that book. Read that book. Whatever this dude's name is. Let me look him up, because he left this long message on my Google Plus about how this is all we wanted. No, this is what was offered to black people after we built the country, after you rode us like camel in the desert, or like donkeys, or like elephants. You whipped us, you Jim Crow'd us, you segregated us, you redlined us, you gentrified us, you raped, you robbed us, you pillaged us, you did everything possible that can be done to native black people the last 500 years. And now you want to tell us we need to go out and go do it ourselves? Well, we built the country. So we gotta start understanding this stuff, ladies and gentlemen, and knowing what our history is and knowing exactly what's going on. For real, for real. So I thought I would put that up there. Oh, and it also talks about in Stolen Legacy how Pythagoras, Plato, Socrates, and Aristotle was sneaking from Greece, which is Europe, over to Africa, which is Egypt. And the ancient Egyptians got it from the Cushites, which is Ethiopia. And they were sneaking over there and learning the liberal arts. And when they knew it was against the law, because Alexander the Greek, not the Great, I learned this from this brother that he taught me this. He said, don't ever call him Alexander the Great. Call him Alexander the Greek, because Alexander the Great, he's known for killing our people. Facts. So I couldn't argue with him about that. And Alexander the Greek raided the Library of Alexander, which was in Africa. And when they retrieved all the books of all our liberal arts and math and science and astrology and astronomy, he told Plato and Socrates and Pythagoras, oh, you could just rename the shit and teach it to people and say it's your shit. Facts. If you don't believe me, go get the books and read them. Go get numerology. I keep forgetting to show that book. I showed it before. I'm still reading that book. I've been really busy, and I'm kind of irritated a little bit because I've been so busy trying to orchestrate how I'm going to do a lot of this stuff now, because, you know, when you're working at the corporate plantation, that shit got to come first, and then you got to usher in everything else. But it even says it at the beginning of this numerology book, how they got their knowledge from the ancient Egyptians. How Pythagoras was going over to Africa and studying from the enlightened ones in Africa, in Egypt. But they just always want to lighten up and brighten up Egypt as if it's something so different from Africa. You know, that's what they like to do. But 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 years ago, sorry clowns, before the pyramids were built, there was no Greece and none of that. We were the first ones here. So I just thought I wanted to address that because it seems like everyone else, even black people, I like to call them provocateurs. If you don't like, what's a provocateur? If you ever watched the movie Malcolm X, remember at the scene before he gets killed when the dude says, "Get your hand out my pocket, nigga," and then it causes all this commotion and they run up there and shoot him. That's what a provocateur is, a person that causes a distraction, a decoy. So when people use those talking points, well, you know, before black people just wanted a seat at the table and all this. No, those were black people that were ignorant and didn't understand that we need the table. And that's a fact. Hey, man, I want to send a shout out to the chat room. Hey, what's going on? Hey, what'd you say? And this spiritual warfare, it's not bad. People use it for bad. I agree. You're right. Shawnee Brown, what's happening? Nick Burris, what's happening? The justice reform, Bernie 2020. That's why the topic, hey, I don't expect y'all to agree with me. Don't agree with me. We can have this discussion all day. That's why the topic is politics or politricks. Now, here's my partake on it. When somebody ran up in Berniesanders' face and asked him about reparations, that motherfucker got ghosted. Motherfucker tipped the fuck out. Now, this is my partake on it. Bernie Sanders, Hillary Clinton, Kamala Harris, Cory Booker, to me, this is my personal opinion, are all the same. They're expendable, like Dr. Claude Anderson teaches us. You buy them. You lease these politicians. You don't. I think black people, we have to take a liking to them because we have a soul. And not even that, we go off a vibe and we go off of a synergy. But we have to lease and buy these politicians. Now, me personally, Bernie Sanders voted for reparations for Jews, which he is Jewish, but he voted against reparations for black people. See, y'all don't understand. This stuff comes up before the table. It comes up to their table a lot. They're just not going to tell you when they vote against something that's beneficial for black people. Kamala Harris was just out here at Canyon Springs in Las Vegas, Nevada, and she did not have a high turnout because the bitch is full of shit. This is just my humble opinion. I do not want people to agree with me because that's what life is about. Everybody having a different perspective. My perspective is this. If Obama got into office with the same talking points about, oh, I'm not just black people's president, I'm the United States of America's president, that's fine. You're right. I give you props. I'm going to give you a hand for that. You're right. But when it comes time to talking about specific things for black people, niggas get ghosts and act like the shit don't exist. But every other president, Trump, Reagan, Bush, everybody else, they didn't give a fuck about talking about what they was going to do for their people because the majority of the things that they've done, 99.9999999% of the things that presidential candidates and presidents have signed into office have been things that have been directly beneficial to Caucasians. And that's a fact. So now that it's our time, shout out to ADOS, Tone Talks, Yvette Carnell, Tariq Nasheed. Those are the people we need to be listening to. That's a fact. Stop listening to the Angela Rye's and Roland Martin and all these other boule motherfuckers that they are boule. These are the aristocracy black people of the world that's supposed to be the gatekeepers, as Mike S would say, that will keep us niggas in line. They're paid by the system too. If you go work at corporate America, you'll see those niggas there. Let me read something out the chat. Bernie personally knew MLK. He's the closest thing we have to holding up MLK's message. I'm going to blow Warren's pocket. I'm going to let everybody know about this. Hey, I appreciate it. Hey, look, but bump that. Let's have this let's get into it. Hey, I like what you're right. Bernie Sanders did walk with Martin Luther King, and he's holding his legacy up. But let me tell you something from my perspective. Isn't it easy to hold up Martin Luther King's legacy, but deflect when it comes to tangibles, as Tariq Nasheed would say, something that we can have right now? We can talk about Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and Marcus Garvey all we want till the cows come home. That's deflection. That's white fragility. We need to know what is in store for black people in the future that will get black people out of poverty, that will help black people in this corporate plantation system that they want to call corporate America, where when you go in the corporate America setting or you go into it, you don't see any black people in a position of power. But we built the country. Nobody wants to address that. That's what I'm looking at. Why is it we always let people deflect? We just need to hold Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton and all these other people accountable. Y'all don't understand it. Hillary Clinton said Margaret Sanger was her hero. Well, Margaret Sanger was a eugenicist who wanted to depopulate and genetically annihilate black people. So we have to understand this when we just sitting up here and going for this shit. And not just that. Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, and Bill Clinton were the architects behind the crime bill, who put over 550,000 blacks in prison. You better go read Michelle Alexander, The New Jim Crow. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. We have to understand that. I'm not saying that Bernie Sanders don't have good in him. I'm not saying that he probably doesn't have good intentions, because he probably does. But we got to address those things first. Because if I was running for office and my hero was Hitler, how far do you think I would get in the political warfare game right now? If I was on record saying my hero was Hitler, where do you think that will leave me? Let me read something out the chat. Nick Bird says, Bernie's plan was to fund areas of low income as a whole. Yes, and those are broad, ambiguous terms, as Dr. Claude Anderson teaches us, and Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. Black labor, white wealth. Powernomics, Black History Reader. When they start talking, look, let me tell you something. And if you don't believe me, go get the books and read it. Every time they use poverty, people of color, minority, that's an ambiguous term to group black people with everybody else. We're not like everybody else. We are a peculiar people. We built the country. So we're not like everybody else. We're not like white people. We're not like Mexicans. We're not like anybody else. Black labor, white wealth. Black labor. This country is what it is because of slaves. Free labor for over 350 years of free labor, chattel slavery. Let's see, building the railroads, building Washington, D.C. No, but directly benefits black people, not everybody else. And you might get offended. If you do, hey, I understand. We can talk about it. But right now, this is about melanated people and what we deserve in this country. Facts. Let me read from the chat room. Why did Bernie run to become a political leader and lose so many times? Stanley Udge, do you think reparations will pass in Congress though? You know what? Hey, shout out to Stanley. Shout out even to Nick Burris. I like your perspective. I think that it won't. I'm gonna just be honest. The reason why I think that it won't, because I don't think a lot of America in general is ready for black people that have power and money. We always are considered the most volatile, but we don't own ships, boats, planes, cars, military, nothing. Who runs all of that? You say, oh, well, the government. But who controls the government? The Federal fucking Reserve. Who runs the Federal Reserve? The Rothschilds, the DuPonts, the Carnegies, the Rockefellers. Who else? The Morgans. All these people that are still around today, the Rockefellers, all these people are still around. They're not, none of them are black. JP Morgan is not black. Rockefeller's not black. Which Rockefeller, his Spelman is named after his wife. Facts. But anyway, I'm just saying, like, we have to understand that. Let me read something else. Stanley says Republicans will still control Congress. Not a lot of congressmen will ever vote for reparations. That's a fact. That's a fact. I agree with you. Have you watched any interviews with Nina Turner? No, I don't. Hey, educate me on Nina Turner. Shawnee Brown. I'm not willing to side with a dude named Burns. Seem like fire is headed. That's just it. Bernie did say he supported tangibles. He'd still be at the mercy of Congress. Exactly. You know what? I just like to give you a little bit of my perspective. Me personally, I'm going to say it again. Shawnee Brown already know. Tommy, you already know. You already know. Y'all done listen to enough podcasts. I just want what's due for black people. Because I'm not talking about Africans. I'm not talking about all that. I'm not talking about niggas that come over here from Africa, from Cameroon, from Jamaica. No, fuck all that. I'm talking about descendants, American descendants of slaves, whose people who have built this country, and you you've deserved resources, money. Come on, man. It is very difficult as a native black. I don't even like to say African American. I like to say native black, because we are indigenous to this landmass, to get up and go to corporate America, and then corporate America tells niggas, us black people, you're lazy, you need to work harder. But we built the country. That's how mind warped it is. That's why you always hear me say, hey, everybody like to march with Martin Luther King, but at the end of the day, what are you doing to further Martin Luther King's plan? Because if you listen to Martin Luther King's last speech, he was talking about reparations for black people. That's a fact, and then they killed him. Let me read something. I'm still listening as I do homework. Much love. For sure. Nothing newsworthy. Shawty Brown, Bernie claimed to change things. What has he done already? Let me read something. Like Nick Burrs, Nina Turner is Bernie Sanders' new campaign chair. Okay, she's amazing. She was a senator from my state. I was happy to bore her in. She's pushing Bernie towards racial injustice. Okay, I can deal with that. Now that I can deal with. That's what I like to hear. I'm not going to speak for certain people in the chat room, but I would say the majority of us, we want tangibles. We want, as Martin would say, I want the yams. If you watched that episode with Martin and Tommy Davis when he was Varnell Hill, did you miss me? We want the yams. I'm tired of what a nigga shoulda, coulda, woulda done. Obama shoulda, coulda, woulda done some shit too. And that nigga, every time it came, let me tell you what happened on Obama's watch. Trayvon Martin, Oscar Grant, Mike Brown. Need I go on? And the nigga didn't even want to really touch on Trayvon Martin. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying it's his job to do it, but when it's black people, they have no problem saying those thugs. You know, those thugs, they're acting like thugs. But when it's a Caucasian, it's like, oh, you know, like that one kid that killed somebody and the lawyer, his attorney said he suffers from affluenza. This was a white kid that had so much money, he ended up killing somebody because he was drunk driving. I forgot his name. And the lawyer, his defense attorney said, Your Honor, he cannot go to prison. My defense is because he suffers from affluenza. He's got too much money, Your Honor. Basically, Your Honor, he's white like you, and he's got money, and he doesn't know what it is to be poor. So that's why he killed somebody. This is what goes on. So that's why you see me always be looking like Kamala Harris and Cory Booker. Cory Booker, they asked him about reparations and intangibles. This motherfucker start talking about the gay community. No diss to the gay community, the LGBTQ element OP. I'm not tripping off them. But right now, this ain't about them. This is about black people and what is due to them. Let me read something else from the chat. Let me see. I believe black people are so angry at Bernie because honestly think he is one of the only politicians that would have passed any form of reparation bill. Now, you know what? Hey, you know what? You probably right. That probably is a fact. Maybe Bernie will get in there and probably try to push it in. I think for most black people, if we just see somebody try to push for tangibles and push for it and get denied by Congress, I'm good enough for that. But when niggas don't try to do nothing and lie like most politicians do, this ain't just Bernie. Obama did too. Obama used black people as a proxy, as a stepping stone. When Obama inherited over $450,000 to go to Harvard and all these schools by his white family. Facts. See, Obama wasn't an ADOS. Obama's dad was Kenyan and he was white. You're not ADOS. So you really didn't have no relation to us, and you didn't know how it was to relate to us because you wanted to be in that seat, and that's fine. But I'm just gonna hold you accountable to what it is. Hey, my nigga, when you gonna talk about shit that's going on with black people? I see it. I look at the degraded hoods and how they gentrified. Look at Brooklyn. Brooklyn, it was all niggas, basically. Now they like, all right, niggas, we done letting y'all have that. Now a brownstone is $1.5 million. Get the fuck out of here. You can't. And now they make it so high where you niggas can't even afford it. Let me read something. Bernie is a user. He will say anything to get in office. If you can't struggle personally, you can't Fight from the heart. That's a fact. Nick Burris. Bernie is anything but a user. He had the same message of helping poor people for over 40 years. And that's what I'm saying. Hey, Nick Burris, hey, I understand what you're saying, but for all y'all that's listening on SoundCloud, there's a chat room and people, you know, they chop it up in the chat. When you say poor people, people of color, minorities, you're using broad, ambiguous terms. Shawnee Brown in the chat is what she's talking about, what I'm talking about. We're talking about specifically to black people. We're not talking about poor and disenfranchised people, because there's poor disenfranchised Latinos, there's poor and disenfranchised Chinamen, there's poor and disenfranchised Puerto Rican, everything else. But we're talking about native blacks, ADOS. What are you gonna do for us? We're not talking about everybody else, because when you say poor, you're grouping in everyone. And if you're white or Hispanic or anything like that, I understand what you're saying, like, hey, but what about us? But I'll tell you this, most people that come from this country, they're given the opportunity to own businesses that black people that were born in this country will never have the opportunity to do, due to redlining, gentrification. Come on, you can't even get a loan from certain banks if you black. It's facts. Let me see. Berniesanders also was arrested for protesting the opening of a segregated school in Chicago. He was one of the few white men who used their white privilege for the positive. You know what? And you're right. I got a book. It's called The Burglary. I'll show it on the next podcast. It's by Betsy Meggers or whatever. And she talks about how there were 5 white people that used their white privilege to expose the FBI. But you don't see those same white people trying to run for political office either. That's a fact. Keith Forsyth. I can name some of them. The book's like 800 pages. It's a great book. You need to go check it out. And they could have kept out a lot of the shit that the FBI, J. Edgar Hoover, was talking about black people. But they exposed all that shit, because they just didn't want the war to go on. That's what they were looking for dirt about the... Sometimes you just got to watch these politicians. Politicians are not meant for us to make friends with. They're meant for us to lease or buy. Facts. How much did he give your community from his pocket, Nick? Poor does not mean black. That's a fact. In your opinion, do you think any candidate that comes out with a black specific policy will get elected? It depends. It depends. I'll tell you this before I keep reading. It depends. Stanley, I'll tell you this. Bro, I think Caucasians respect people that stick up for their people. That's just a fact. I don't care what nobody say. Look, man, I'm around a lot of Caucasians all the time. When you be buck dancing and cooning and talking shit about your own people, they don't respect you. Then they know they can use you. They know you're an agent for them. And they don't respect you the majority of the times. And they treat you like shit. They treat you like how Steven got treated in Django. Nigga, you just the butler. You just there to control all the other niggas. They treat you how Merlin Martin got treated when they fired his motherfucking ass. They treat you how Steve Harvey got treated when those white people fired his black ass. That's how you get treated when you don't have no respect. But guess what? Let's talk about Monique just for a second. Monique signed a very, very big monumental deal out here at the SLS in Las Vegas that nobody's talking about. Because white people gonna respect real black people that stand up for a purpose and know that we get mistreated. Every white person ain't the same, that's a fact. But white people know how powerful we are, but they know how weak and how decadent we have become over the years, and they don't respect that. So if any candidate was like, nah, fuck that, they deserve more than that, and I'm running for it, you never know. White people might get behind it and be like, hey man, they right. Every white person doesn't feel like black people shouldn't get anything. And I'm not caping or cooning. It's a fact. Every Asian, every Mexican, you know what? Every other race is probably like, why don't y'all just give them the money y'all owe them so we can go back to having a country? Facts. Let's see. So what was he arrested? His George Lord got him off. Shawnee be going in. When black people get arrested, they are shamed. Why didn't Bernie? I get it, believe me, but 50% of this country has no health care. I think Bernie puts everyone having health care and an education before we can even consider making any reparation. Okay, I get that. I see your point. In my opinion, reparations could never be made, not momentarily. What's the price of a legacy? simply writing a check and calling it even because it will be called even isn't good enough. That's a fact, Nick Burrs. Hey, that's a fact. You know what? I'll tell you this, man. I'll say this. You can't just write a check for that. But you know what you can do? Give black people resources and land that is owed to them. 40 acres and a mule. See, people think that's just a myth. No, that was actually true. And these are the things that are owed to them. But of course, your good friends, your good fellow people that we worship, George Washington and Thomas Jefferson and all these other motherfuckers that had slaves and was raping and robbing them and buck breaking them and all this other shit, was like, fuck these niggas. Especially Thomas Jefferson's motherfucking clown ass. And Andrew Jackson, I despise that motherfucker. When I think it was either Spain or France, one of them had a peace treaty with Florida and was like, okay, we'll sell you this land, but you got to give black people that land that's owed to them. Native black people. They didn't say Indians. They said native blacks. That motherfucking Andrew Jackson was like, fuck y'all. Okay. And he did the deal. And then he got the militia, the police, to back him and was going over there to fucking Florida and raping and killing black people and straight jacking the land. That's what that motherfucker was doing. So yeah, we are owed way more than what we have gotten. That's why I get so irritated when you go to corporate America and they got you thinking that you lazy because you're not working harder than everybody else when you built the country. Facts. Let me read something from the chat. Bernie had 11 black people on his campaign team since 1988. When you can count your black friends, it's a problem. You know what hey, let me get on that. Check out Nina Turner, Shawnee. I promise you won't be disappointed. Let me piggyback off that, Shawnee Brown. That's a fact. And here's the reason why. Because this is how I feel. I think a lot of white people, they have one or two black friends that's okay with the nigga jokes, okay with the bullshit jokes, and think the shit is funny. So they think that the majority of black people are like that. And then they don't want to go out and venture out and see exactly what black people's struggle is. But then they be looking at us like, why we so mad? Because you don't think I've heard, I don't understand why black people acting like that. Hell, we got Obama. You know, Obama, come on. So you mean to tell me 50-something white presidents and one black man and we supposed to be satisfied? Come on, man. But they don't understand because a lot of it, to me, is ignorance, and a lot of it is just they know, but they don't give a fuck because it doesn't affect them. And a lot of white people, in my humble opinion, they like the fact that they're in control of niggas, and it makes them feel some type of entitlement, and they feel good. Because if we woke up one day and the government got on the news and was like, all right, from now on, everybody's at an even slate. Everyone. There's no rich, there's no poor, everybody's even. Blacks and whites are all even. Whether you live in a house that's in Beverly Hills or you live in the projects, your shit ain't worth shit. We're starting clean slate. Man, white people be jumping out of building windows and killing themselves like 9/11. That's a fact. Because it's been this way so long, they don't see nothing wrong with it. In every other race, guess what they do? They become acclimated and they become aligned with the system of white supremacy. It's a fact. Okay, I'm open to know more. I will look her up. Yeah, I'm gonna look up Nina Turner. Look, I don't think these people are bad. I don't think Berniesanders is bad. But when you ducked and dodged that reparations question, I was like, see, here we go. Here go that Hillary Clinton, that deflecting, that Bill Clinton, that motherfucking Obama shit, that Joe Biden shit, that Cory Booker, Kamala Harris shit. See, Kamala Harris talking about, oh yeah, I think we should, discuss reparations. Then Nancy Pelosi, oh, I'm thinking we can have a study on it. What you mean? Why is it white people need to do a study on reparations that are owed to us for building the goddamn country? That's an insult. That's like telling the Jews, well, we're going to do a study on reparations for the Jews, even though Hitler was burning them in ovens, but we're going to do a research just to see what you guys really deserve. Shit, Jews got their shit like that and still get their shit. That's why they run Hollywood. That's why they run the banking system. That's why they run corporate America as well. You're like, no, they don't. It's a talent. Look, corporate America reports to the banking system, right? The government reports to the banking system, right? Who runs the banking system? Ashkenazi Khazar Jews. If you don't believe me, go look it up. Because Mayor M. Shell Rothschild, he wasn't even Jewish. And by the way, Jewish is not a Jew. being a Jew is not a race. It's a religion. They made it into a race. Man, get the fuck out of here. And this ain't no diss or no other race and no religion or nothing like that. I'm just saying we have to know what we up against. And we got to know what we're dealing with. And that's why when Bernie Sanders ducked and dodged that question, I was like, Well, let me say, he didn't dodge the question as much as he asked for a definition. When it comes to a lot of people, they will say reparations are just money. Okay, I believe until we have enough support behind reparations, it will never pass. That's a fact. I'm sorry, I'm going with Stanley. He nipped it in the bud. Fuck what I'm saying. Fuck with everybody. He right. No support, you right. We ain't getting it. But as melanated people, that doesn't mean you can't still hold these politicians accountable. And why is it when it comes to these politicians, we got to define what it is? Bernie Sanders know what the fuck it is. Let me tell you why he knows what it is. Nick, because he voted for reparations for Jews and voted against reparations for black people. Go look it up. So he knows what the definition is. Because if he didn't know what the definition was, he would have said, I don't know what reparations means for Jewish people, even though they're my people, but I'm gonna just say no until I do research. No, that nigga said, hell yeah, give us our shit. We gotta understand this, and we gotta stop going for the okie doke and stop thinking that everything that politicians do are all good, and anybody that thinks differently or oppositional is evil. Or not just evil, we're ignorant. No, you gotta look, if I hold Obama accountable, I'm gonna hold Bernie, I'm gonna hold Hillary, Kamala, Cory Booker. Like I keep saying, you ask Cory Booker about reparations, that dude start talking about, oh, I went to a school that was homophobic and all this. What does that have to do with black tangibles? What does that have to do with ADOS and what is owed to us? If y'all notice, I keep saying when you go to corporate America, you gotta work harder than everybody else, or you are labeled as the lazy black guy. You're the one that get the fucking black questions every fucking chance they get. That doesn't happen to any other race but black people. Then when you're the director, this is the first African-American director of this department. It's always the first of this. Oh, they're the first black woman to win an Oscar. Which the Oscar is patterned off of the god Ptah, the African god Ptah. By the way, just thought I'd throw that in there. It's cold when you get into political parties. They assign a fall guy. Facts, Lee Major, the fall guy. That's a motherfucking fact. I'm sorry, Shawnee Brown. You right. That's a fact. I agree totally with that. I'm just saying he's the leftmost politician. It's not saying much in America, but it is where to ever happen. It would happen under Bernie as opposed to Biden or even Harris. Really, Shawnee, I hate, but he right on that one. He right. He right. That's a fact. Because you know Kamala Harris, she known for throwing niggas in prison. So you know that bitch, her whole agenda is like, fuck these niggas. I'm about to get in here and do what the fuck I want to do. Y'all need to go look up the Jewish politician Marianne. She was on Tone Talk Show. I forgot her. I think her name is Marianne Morrison. She's running for president. She said we should get 100 billion. She said black people should get 100 billion. She said even though that number's too low, which it is, but she said at least 100 billion. Damn. I believe white America will never be okay with writing black people a check. Facts. They can't invest in our communities. Look at Flint. Facts, man. Stanley, I like Stanley. You like Shawnee Brown, boy. You be on your shit. It is still the same snake with two heads. You will get bitten. Shawnee be killing me. Hey, that's a fact, man. I'm telling you, man. Look, let me tell you something. The Republicans and the Democrats is, guess what? Left wing, right wing, same bird shitting on your motherfucking head. It's the same shit, just a different toilet. Now, would Bernie Sanders probably try to push it? Probably. I would go ahead and do that. I would say he probably would try to push it, but when he get fought, he'd be like, well, you see, I tried. That's the type of shit I think he would be on. Now, Hillary would never do it. She don't give a fuck about no niggas at all. Fuck that. Her hero was Margaret Sanger. You just gotta look at what these people on. Kamala Harris, that bitch ain't shit. Her dad already came out and said she was fraudulent. She's gonna be for immigration. See, these are all broad, ambiguous terms, as Dr. Claude Anderson used to, he say it. Read his book. They always talking about people of color. Well, people of color could be African people that don't deserve fucking reparations. It could be Latino, dark Latinos. That's what people of color could be. That's anybody under the term people of color. When you say minorities, you talking Latinos, you talking about disenfranchised and poor people. We're not talking about them. We're talking about black melanated people. ADOS, American descendants of slaves. It's a fact. When we start talking about that, then we can make it happen. Other than that, I don't want to hear no shit about everybody else. I'm tired of us black people. We always fighting everybody else's battles but our own. Like I said, Charlamagne the God, that nigga full court pressed the fuck out of Monique. But when Hillary Clinton was on there, that motherfucker was not capable, kind of smiling with her a little bit. I'm just saying. And I get it because the Breakfast Club is on a main platform and that's fine. But goddamn, you press the fuck out of Monique. See, we're not afraid to go at each other. But when it comes to talking about shit to defend us, oh shit. We'll take a gun and shoot every nigga we see for the system of white supremacy. That's a fact. It's called being on a code. Let me read this. Okay, all right. I read that from Sean. Okay, Nick, I do wonder why Bernie is getting slammed with these questions while Warren and Elizabeth Warren too. Let's get on her ass too. And Booker haven't even been asked this question yet. You know why? Because when Booker was asked the question, Booker started talking about gay people. And then, or the LGBTQ element OP. That's what he started talking about. When Elizabeth Warren was asked about, this broad started talking about how the Native Americans deserve reparations. Nick, because black people feel betrayed by Bernie. He was honestly the one who had the balls to push for reparations. He is weak on it. I think the Nina Turner as VP, it could happen. Maybe so. I gotta start looking into this Nina Turner. We gotta start looking into this. Shawnee, you're gonna have to help me, man. We're gonna start to look at Bernie already taking heat for being a Democrat socialist. Supporting reparations will end his chances. Let me tell you something. Socialism, all these isms, to me, are distractions. It's about agendas. And what is your agenda for black people? That's how I look at it. Because I'm pretty sure y'all in the chat room are just probably way more educated than me, especially when it comes to this shit. Because I stopped believing in politics after Obama won the second time. I ain't gonna lie. I was like, oh, this is some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? He signed the Blue Lives Matter, which means you granting police the permission to kill niggas with impunity and ain't nothing gonna happen to them. Nah. I was like, this nigga is their man. And I had hope. And I was like, but every time you start talking shit about Obama, niggas start, well, he can't just be the president for black people. He's got to be the president for all people. Man, I don't want to hear that shit. Because black people are the ones that's been suffering the last 450 something odd years. While everybody else been sitting back and popping their popcorn and watching. Yes, Latinos, yes, everybody else. And they always want to talk this black and brown coalition. But I don't see no fucking Latinos talking about reparations for us. I see them talking about shit for themselves. See, we have to understand this. We have to understand this. And I mean what I'm saying, and I don't want nobody to take it the wrong way. I'm telling y'all, get this book by Neely Fuller Jr., The United Independent Compensatory Code System Concept. I call it the Independent Compensatory Counter-Racist Code. I call it the Compensatory Code of Ethics. I call it your personal cliff notes to the system of white supremacy. Black people need to get this book and learn how to stay on code, because it does. See, people be thinking, see, this is a thing. People be thinking because you got white friends or Hispanic friends, or you date outside your race, people be thinking that you're not supposed to go hard for your people. I think you're supposed to go hard for your people no matter who you date, who you're around. It don't matter, because that's how other races and other people respect you. They don't respect you by dating outside your race and then you caping for every other race but your own. That's what I'm talking about. When you date whoever you want to date. I ain't tripping off that shit. But always stay on code. Symbolisms. What does he stand for? Not what wishes he is trying to sell you. That's a fact. Hey, man, I'm telling you, man. When I saw Cory Booker deflect and then Elizabeth Warren basically say, oh, well, the Native Americans, or then you must be talking about blacks, because we are the Native Americans. You know why? Because I would just show Elizabeth Warren this book. I was sure of this book. They Came Before Columbus by Dr. Ivan Van Sertima. I showed this book. Well, Christopher Columbus wrote in his notes that black people were already here. Not Native Americans, black people. Facts. But we're so convinced by what they give us. Think about it, y'all. They give us our options. That's why I always tell people, every motherfucking podcast, what do I tell y'all? Shawnee already know. She already know. I always say this, and I'm about to show this book. Go get you an Oxford Dictionary of English Etymology, and it's gonna tell you exactly what the origin of these words mean. That's why I always say imagery and image. Image and imagery mean, the etymology of it means an artificial representation of an object, of a thing. It's not real. And we gotta understand that. And we have to stop just believing in what they place in front of us. Think about it. They have given us our options. They give us Elizabeth. They given us all these democratic options. Why isn't ain't no independent options? Where's the other options? Why we only get to choose from two? Well, these your options, so choose, nigga. And then we always talk about, well, the lesser of the two evils. Good people don't choose evil. They just don't vote. That's a fact. And black people now are starting to be on code and wake up and say, you know what? We not finna just vote for anybody because they know how to do the Dougie and stanky leg like fucking Roland Martin and Hillary Clinton. The first thing I would ask her, well, if you so good, you love black people so much, why would you sign that bill and usher in that crime bill that put all those black, innocent black men in prison? Why would you do that? And let her squirm out of that. Then I would have said, and why would Margaret Sanger be your hero, but she was a eugenicist who wanted to genetically annihilate black people? That's what I'd ask Hillary Clinton, but ain't nobody seemed to ask her that. Facts. Why is it called fact? Thank you. Black people can never be racist. You know why? Because according to Neely Fuller Jr. and the ISIS papers by Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, and according to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, how we gonna be racist? We don't own nothing. Racism and racist people, racism is about the competition of resources. And then you use that to control and manipulate your surrounding. Black people can't manipulate shit because we don't own no cakes, no pies, no boats, no ships, no banks, no nothing. Yeah, you might own a black bank, but where do you get that money from? The Federal Reserve. And who runs the Federal Reserve? The 10 wealthiest families in the world. And they're not black. That's a fact. So stop thinking that black people are racist because they stand up for their people. No, it's about time. I would say the last 30 years, we ain't really stood up for ourselves the way we are this election. That's why everybody on the ADOS. ADOS. That's a fact. American descendants of slaves and what is owed to us. Land and fucking resources. And if we don't get that land and that resources, I ain't voting for shit. You want to go out there and vote? Have at it. But you don't see the goddamn Koreans and the Chinamen out there voting. No, you see Latinos and niggas out there arguing with each other with white people about Republican and Democratic shit, while white people already know they're going to benefit from it anyway. They've been benefiting from this system. It's their system. Bernie actually had a rally in Chicago today and focused on racial injustice. He talked about ending private prisons, legalizing marijuana, and releasing people in jail for marijuana charges. And that's good. But the government's already legalized the shit. They're already making money off of it. You better ask people in California and Nevada. It's a damn near dispensary everywhere. But guess what? When the government have their hands on it, it's some fuckery involved. That doesn't necessarily mean they want people to get healthy. Facts. I'm just saying. I think that we hold politicians in such high regards because it's imagery. And remember I said the etymology of imagery is an artificial representation of an object. That's what it is. It's not real. Perception is people's reality. So whatever you perceived is what your reality is. I thought the same thing. Oh, Obama 08, Obama 08, Obama, nigga. Shit, I'm on my Obama shit. And then after 4 years, he's like, well, Obama, nigga. I guess, yeah, man. Obama, nigga, he gonna do it again. Obama. And then after he got out of office, I was like, that nigga got our asses He didn't give a fuck. The nigga saved the banks after they robbed everybody and let the houses sit on the market for a little bit of nothing, and then mind putting everybody out their house when they couldn't pay a mortgage because you lending everybody arms. And if you don't know what arms are, ladies and gentlemen, they are adjustable rate mortgages, which mean your rate on your mortgage will go up and down and fluctuate throughout your 30-year loan. So it could go from $800 a month to $2,800 a month. And they know people couldn't afford that, but they signed those documents and those loans anyway. You better go watch The Big Short. I'm telling you, there's some crooked shit going on, and the politicians are a part of it. And Bernie can say all that shit he want, but I want to see what you gonna do. Not what you say, what you gonna do. Because Donald Trump said he was gonna prosecute Hillary Clinton to all full terms of the law, and then as soon as he got in office, we ain't heard shit about Hillary Clinton being prosecuted for all her dirty practices and shit. Because there's a code that they stick to. It's a fact. Marijuana is another tax break. Politicians don't really care. Thank you. That's a fact. They don't care about no guy. Look, they know it's money involved in it. So now they gonna make okay, it's legal now. Because we can make money too. So now it's legal. Oh, but you just can't use our banks. Then a nigga, well, fuck it, we go crypto. Let's go cryptocurrency. Now they trying to now the government want to shut cryptocurrency down. Ain't no more Bitcoin. That's what they want to do. Because the government can't control Bitcoin. I'm telling you. Y'all got to understand, man, these people are placed in front of us for specific reasons. And we have to understand that. Do a little bit more research. Watch The House of Cards, ladies and gentlemen. Go on Netflix and watch season 1 through the last season. That is basically telling you that politics is nothing but fucking theater. It's theater. It's Shakespeare. That's all it is. I remember when Obama was running, they said he was an Arab. And an Arab ain't nothing but a nomad. It's a wanderer. Arab is not a race. And they said he was a Muslim. So what if he is a Muslim? It's politics. It's not religious. But this is what we do. Build all kinds of distractions going on. Come on, man. Why people like Laquan McDonald gets murdered and Rahm Emanuel holds the goddamn tape until he becomes mayor and all this other shit. Then they release the tape and like, oh yeah, he did shoot him a million times. This is what they do. Walter Scott, he gets shot in the back, and then the police try to place the gun by, oh, he had a gun. He didn't know he was on tape. This is what they do. Then, oh, we're gonna sign in the policy where police have to wear video cams. Well, they can edit the footage. So what does it matter? Who's holding the accountable? Let me say, Nick, I respect your dedication to Bernie, but please understand that he will need permission from the higher game players to get things done. That's a fact. That's a fact. That is a fact, man. I'll tell you that, hey, man, it's been fun. It's been real. Hey, I appreciate it. I appreciate all the feedback in the chat. Hey, that Shawnee, you already know, good looking. You always be on it. Hey, Shawnee been on it since day one. That's a fact. That's a fact. Shout out to my homegirl, Nuke. Nuke is probably pimping them hoes downtown because, you know, she's a madam part-time out here. But I'm just saying, shout out to Nuke. But anyway, man, everybody that's been listening and subscribing, I appreciate you. I like the feedback. Hey, but don't give up hope on Bernie. Maybe Bernie might come through. We don't know. We just gonna ask the questions that don't nobody else want to ask. Maybe Nick needs to be on his campaign. That's a fact. Because you know how to answer those questions. And you know how to, you're not scared to run away from those questions. A lot of other people are scared to answer them. Cory Booker deflected. Elizabeth Warren started talking about the Native Americans and how they need reparations. And then, what's that lady's name? Cortez, whatever her name is in New York. This bride started talking about how the Latinos and everybody else deserve reparations. Nigga, what? So, man, hey, this is discussion. Hey, we gonna check it out. I'm gonna definitely do a little bit of research. Hey, everybody that's been listening, subscribing, I appreciate you. This is not the No Way Out. This is the No I Don't Know podcast. I appreciate everybody listening, subscribing, hit the bell, hit the like button. If you don't like it, hey, hit the don't like. I don't give a fuck. This is the internet. They can manipulate this the way they want. I see y'all between 6. I'm gonna try to go 6. I'm gonna try to go 6 because I know some of y'all East Coast, and I know 6:30 and 7. That's late as fuck. So I'm a start going like earlier. I'm gonna start going like 5:30. I think I'm gonna start going 5:30. That's a fact. On Wednesday and Thursday, I'll be here Wednesday at 5:30 to 6:30. That's a fact. I'll see y'all then. Hey, man, I appreciate everybody that's been listening, subscribing. Send this to any coon or Sambo you know. They need to hear this shit. Hey, man, any of y'all niggas out there doing shit you ain't supposed to be doing, guilty, nigga. Hey, I'll holler at y'all later, man. Peace.